Our Madhavan, congratulations. Fantastic moment. Chandrayaan on the moon, Vikas engine part of it, and Rocketry gets the national award.
Yeah, we are over the moon in all sense of the word.
But what,
But
please.
um, I looked at the Chandrayaan mission and I was literally gleeful. I was so happy for the achievement. It is no meager achievement. Those who understand science and the importance of space travel in the near future know what a spectacular achievement this is and what it means to the common man as well. And I celebrated. And then the news came yesterday of the national award, and I figured I might have celebrated a little too much because I didn't have anything left to give. This is a very sobering moment for me. But the only euphoria that the entire team felt is when we called Nambi sir on the phone and gave him the news, and there was family was celebrating. They were all coming and telling him the news at the same time. It was very, very rewarding for us to see that household with that much of glee, mirth, and happiness. And that has been our biggest reward.
I spoke with him ahead of the Chandrayaan launch itself, and he was saying there is so much more that we can do beyond the Vikas engine. And he was already looking ahead to the next steps. Uh, but in terms of an achievement, shouldn't we all feel proud that inside of 650 crores, we have actually landed a vehicle, a lunar module on the moon? Doesn't this talk about what we as a nation can achieve? Madhura? Do you think, Maddie, people have been able to understand, grasp the weight of this achievement?
No, I'm afraid they have not. Let me try and put it in perspective. Russia and China have done the same mission and almost failed. Nobody's actually landed on the South Pole like India has done with such grace. And the cost of their missions were upwards of 1,600 crores. We've managed to do it in less than 650 crores. The fallout of technology, let us say not the fallout, but the technology associated with such a project and mission is so very useful because it's now been verified, it's been proved to be successful, and that can be indigenously made and implemented throughout the nation for the common consumer. It's a great leap forward for medical science, for technologies to help the common man. And when that percolates, you will realize, for example, GPS, we don't might not have to depend on Google anymore. We will have visuals that are so clear about our own very streets and gullies that is possible right now because of missions like this. And imagine that if you are getting an iPhone, I'm not, let's say any phone for 1,000 rupees, and India is able to give you the same phone at 350 rupees. Do you see the advantage in that? That's exactly it's strange but very wide correlation between the success of the price that ISRO has managed to achieve this mission in compared to what the other countries have spent.
One more is a big thumbs up to the middle class, because a lot of time nobody speaks about it. Most of the scientists are from middle class, humble backgrounds. You see the contribution of the middle class towards India's growth story. That's another part which not too many people talk about.
I think the Indian middle class is the most powerful in the world. The whole world is trying to woo them, from the OTT channels to the products and to consumers. All of them, we are the most powerful. We not only are consuming them, we also have very clear opinions and very clear patterns which we follow, and it's a great study. um uh what a film like Rocketry does, or a mission like like a Mangalyaan does, is that it evokes interest among the youngsters in the middle class to clearly be part of a movement like this, and make space technology or research or ISRO as important as an establishment as IIT or IIM for them to be part of. And that is what I'm keenly looking forward to, because I can promise you, Anand, that in the very near future, much faster than we envisage, space is going to become a reality. And the dominance over space and the technology that is going to be involved for a direct correlation to to men living on Earth. And I'm saying this is an achievement for the whole world, not just India. And the direct correlation of the technologies that this is going to have, and the impact on the common man, is going to be really spectacular. And to be the first one, the forerunners in that, it's going to be extraordinary.
Ooh, I know there was no race to make Rocketry, but there's going to be a race to make the story of Chandrayaan. So I need to ask, is Madhavan the filmmaker, the writer, in that race too? Or do you have a better story closer home with your son doing what he's doing in the pool?
Thank you very much. We're under a long way to go. We're all keeping our fingers crossed. No, there is no race for me. This Rocketry as a film was thrust upon me as a director. I wrote it, I wanted to produce it, and I acted in it, but I didn't want to direct it. I didn't have the ability at that point in time, is what I thought. But now that it's done and it's got the highest award, I'm even more frightened that I might be called off and called out as a bad director if I do something which I don't have my heart in. So I'm going to wait for that calling. I don't know if it's going to be Chandrayaan or any other thing, but I know that when I get the calling, I will put my heart and soul into it. This is not just a great award and recognition, but it's a huge responsibility, Anand. And one wants to, one wants to make sure that one lives up to the expectations of such a respect and honor that's been bestowed.
My final question, which side of the political spectrum you are, the celebration has been colored with that. Do you feel that's fortunate, unfortunate? Where people had an issue with Prime Minister being there when Chandrayaan touched down on the screen. Many would have perhaps even called you out for congratulating PM Modi and ISRO together, saying give the credit only to ISRO, don't give it to the PM or to the current government. Where do you stand when all this happens? I know you steer clear of politics, but I just thought I should ask you this.
I am I'm in love with India, and I'm also in love with the fact that India is doing great right now. And I have the deepest and utmost respect for my Prime Minister. And I can tell you this, that the Prime Minister of India today will, with me, clap for the next Prime Minister, whoever is doing good for India. It's the post and the position that we are applauding. It is not politically aligned. It's a big crime not to acknowledge good work and pat on the back and acknowledge the progress that the country is making, because that's almost uh, uh, being unfair with the country. So for the few misguided people who have opinions that like everybody does over the world, you cannot do anything right. There is not, you'll see a small child smile and they will find a reason why the child should not smile. So we have to make allowances for these poor souls and keep moving ahead. But that does not mean that we do not actually look inside and give credit where there is due. And for goodness sake, you have to give credit. It has happened. What are you going to do? It's happened during this government's time. You know, the government has already supported it. The Prime Minister has been a big fan. He has been there for the equally there for the failure of Chandrayaan-2 as much as he's been there for the success of Chandrayaan-3. You never said he should not have gone there then. I'm just saying, guys, look deep inside. This is a country that's making progress. There are many external elements that are not happy with the kind of progress that we do. And the best way to break a country is, and I honestly believe this, is to give the younger generation fast food that really screws with their stomach and their mind, which I know has not worked for many Western countries. And the other thing is to feed the seed of dissent for everything possible. Look, everybody who's making a mockery of this, you just look around and say, this is the place where your children are going to grow up. This is the country that the entire world is standing up and applauding. What are you doing in praising the people involved with it? It's just to say that, oh, only praise ISRO, do not praise the Prime Minister. Who is? Everybody is just saying Chandrayaan did a great job. And again, coming back, when it failed, he was there to take responsibility. Why don't you all acknowledge that? And I'm not going to be dissuaded by people in projecting and applauding what is right by my country. If that is going to be painted in whichever color they feel is convenient to them, I cannot be dissuaded by that. He is my prime minister. This is the government that is ruling, and they are doing a great job so far. And if there is something wrong that they're doing, I'm telling you, the government will have to take responsibility. They will. And I know the bunch of people that I've met, that tomorrow, God forbid, if they are not in the government also, they will be applauding with any gentleman or lady who becomes a prime minister and is doing right for the country. I'm speaking for them. I can say it. Everybody is nationalistic, and it is important to do that. If you don't know what that means, go to Japan or at least read what they do. And we are a great country. We have wonderful, talented people who need to be nourished and protected, including the ISRO scientists. Okay. So unless you give them this acknowledgement, unless you know there is somebody out there you can reach out to say, hey, sir, you said this. Now, can we do something about protecting them? How are you going to protect them and treat them as national assets? I'm sorry I was a little, long with my answer, but I truly believe this. And I'm telling you, I don't think that anybody should have any problem with what I just said, simply because I really am only talking about my India.
दिल से बोला, सही बोला, Varga, Varga, Nanba, Varga. Fantastic.
Thank
May
you.
your tribe grow. May your tribe grow. Lovely speaking with you, buddy. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making the time amidst what's your personal time for speaking with us. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anand, for your kind hearing, and very sweet of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Mary.
Thank you.
Thanks. All the best.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Anand. Bye bye, man. Bye.